stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.
Hello and welcome back to We Are Mighty. I am your host, LaTanya Cross, aka Mighty's Mama. And who is Mighty? Well, I guess I should say who was Mighty. He was my son, Miles, whom I love dearly, and who I lost way too soon at the age of 24 due to unnecessary gun violence. And what is We Are Mighty? Well, it's the chronicling of my journey through grief, life after grief, life during grief. No longer a life of grief, but life with grief, because it never goes away. But as hard as it is to say, life does go on. So how have y'all been? How's the last couple weeks been for you? I hope your journey has gotten a little bit easier. I hope your destiny has gotten a little bit clearer and your focus is just a little bit more in tune. This journey is full of ups and downs, but we have to navigate it, right? We got to figure out a way to wake up every day and do what we need to do, even though a part of us may be gone. A part of us may be missing, but we still have to pull ourselves together. So if you're watching, you see that I've changed my hair again, I guess. And I think this is all part of moving along with this journey. I don't know that it's creating a new identity, but it's learning to embrace the identity that I now have. I'm no longer, well, I guess I'm still Eminem Mom, as I always called myself. Both my sons' names started with M. It's just one of those M's is no longer physically present. And my identity has started to become that of the grieving mother, the grieving wife, the grieving person. LaTanya in the presence of loss, LaTanya without her son. And although I am all of those things, I don't want that to be the lead in, if you will, of my identity. See, it's as opposed to the grieving mother, I want to be the mother who is also grieving. I want to be the wife who also deals with grief. The grief part, I want to, as much as I can, sing as how I'm doing a podcast that focuses on my grief journey. But I still want the grief to be secondary to who I am. I want my identity to be, LaTanya, back to the fun-loving, goofy, joking person that I always was, although I'm not fully that person, if that makes sense. We talked about before how I can't go back to who I used to be because that person had 2 living biological sons. And now I have 1, but I still want to be as close to that fun-loving person as I used to be. I want to almost create a new identity if that makes sense. And I'm almost 50 years old, but I kind of have to, because I went from, LaTanya, Eminem, mom, cool chick, did so many things, laughed, had fun all the time, to LaTanya, grieving mom, sad mom, upset mom, trying to make it day by day, having enough strength to just do the normal things that should come naturally, to now just LaTanya, honestly. Just a lady living her life and trying to be happy and trying to have fun and not feel guilty, trying to do things that she was meant to do, even though there's a hole in her heart, even though there's a devastating loss that affects her daily. But I'm trying to embrace that and allow that to be a part of me, but not the standout part of me. I hear all the time, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you can even continue. Honestly, I don't either. But it's not just me. I know that God has something in store for me. I know that God has a plan for me. And I know that I have to embrace the identity, embrace the life that I was given. Embrace the fact that I don't have control over it. Embrace the fact that things are happening with or without me. Things are happening within or outside my plan, because I don't have the final say. I would say I'm okay with that, but I'm not fully okay with that. I'm just accepting it. And even that is not easy. And I know I see people and it's, oh girl, I barely recognized you. Is that you? Girl, how you been? You look so different. And I know some of that's the physical appearance, but I also know some of that is just the me that is only a percentage of the person that I once was. Yeah, I lost weight, but that's not what I'm talking about. Emotionally, I'm not fully the person that I used to be. I'm not the person that I was prior to July of 2023. I'm not the person I was 3, 4, 5 years ago. But I'm still learning and attempting to enjoy life. My older son had a job interview recently, and he literally had the whole scenario in his head of, even though the job interview went well, something was going to go wrong. Somebody was going to say something. Someone was going to mess it up, and somehow he wasn't going to get the job. And, I was like, you're amazing. They loved you in the interview. What are you talking about? He was like, Mom, I just know to expect things to go wrong. I expect to not get the job. I expect people to die on me out of nowhere. And I stopped him and I said, listen, since we lost your brother, I have a habit of thinking the worst as well, expecting the worst as well. And he said he didn't even realize that he's been this way since losing his brother. I said, that's one of the things that grief does. It makes you expect things that you never expected before, because you never expected to lose that loved one. And I told him, as opposed to thinking something's going to go wrong, I know it's going to go wrong, and preparing for that, think to yourself, something could go wrong. So what do I do to avoid it? What do I do to combat it? Try to take a positive outlook on it. And he was upset with me for even saying it that way, but I had to explain to him that's your grief that has you afraid everything's going to go wrong, afraid that you're not going to be able to succeed, because you always had a positive outlook prior to that. All he needed was his foot in the door, and he knew I know I've got this job. I know there's no way that they can tell me no, because they're going to love me when I step in the door. And he had literally, before actually the interview, he had already thought, even though the interview could go well, something would go wrong, or the interview was going to go wrong, or something was going to sabotage him getting that job. So we had a long talk, and he said, I didn't realize that it was the loss of my brother that has me thinking this way lately. But now that I think about it, yeah, I do expect something to happen that may not even make sense, because it didn't make sense to lose my brother. And so he went into that interview, he killed it, they loved him, and he got the job offer. And I'm just glad that he let me know that he felt that way, because I wouldn't have known without him telling me. Because from what I've seen, he's been doing better than me day by day in dealing with the grief and dealing with the sadness. And he's just been moving forward. And I've been so inspired, not knowing in his mind, he's really thinking of grieving, of everything that comes before him causing some type of grief. And I'm trying to work with him to get his identity in a different space, not the young man who lost his brother. He did, but is that the only identity that you want? And he said no. And if it was what he wanted to be known as, I couldn't change that. I can't change his journey. I can only control mine. But I definitely try to keep him thinking positively, because to lose your brother who's been there pretty much your whole life, it's a pretty devastating thing. But we can get past any of these things. One of the things that I told my son was, it's okay to live your life, to accomplish things. I know there's things that you and your brother planned, and it's okay to still accomplish those things. It's okay to accomplish things that you guys didn't plan, things that you didn't think of, and not feel guilty about it. The guilt comes in, he didn't get to do these things. He won't get to experience this, or he won't get to see these things because he was taken from us. But we don't have to feel guilty because we're still here on earth and they're not. That's probably one of the hardest things when you're dealing with grief, with the loss of a loved one, someone who's closest to you, is I want to do this, but it feels so weird to accomplish this without them here. That's putting your life at a standstill. That's going all the way back to you dying along with them. And if God still has you here, it's not your time. So what are you going to do with the time that you still have left? What are you going to do with the gift of life that you still have, that God is still giving you every day when you wake up? Are you going to waste it? I don't think you want to do that. Even in the mornings when you wake up and you don't feel like dealing with any of it, because I had those mornings. I have no clue why, but today was just an overly emotional day. I got up, getting dressed for work, fixing this hair. I didn't like how it looked, and I cried. I've never cried because my hair didn't look the way I wanted it to. Maybe as a kid, but absolutely not as an adult. And I'm trying to figure out what is going on. Why am I in tears over a wig? Yes, it's a wig and it looks pretty good. But it just, everything. I left home. I'm on my way to work. I had a stop sign. I felt like I was at that stop sign too long. Why isn't this light changing? I just need to turn. What is going on? I'm in tears. And for a minute, I felt like, you know why? Because you haven't been grieving lately. You've been so gung-ho about moving forward, about your promotion recently, and you've been so excited about things that you haven't even been taking the time to grieve. And I'm beating myself up over that. When the fact of the matter is I'm still grieving. I still miss my son every day. But it's what I've been striving for, is to be able to live my life, although grief is a part of it. And so I'm just, I don't know. Things are moving in a positive direction, but grief is still making the negative creep up and even putting negativity where it isn't. And I literally am arguing with myself, tears in my eyes. What am I crying for? What is this? What am I doing? What are you doing? What am I doing? And then even that is confusion. What are you doing? What am I doing? Talking about myself. And I had to just take a step back and just calm myself down, because I don't have time to always pick up the phone and call and, hey girl, how you doing? I need you to help me. No, I've got to figure out a way when these things happen to calm myself down. I'm not saying that's what you have to do. That's just how I am. Because I don't feel like I need to always put my problems on other people. And so what did I do? Went into the bathroom at work, took a second in the stall and just kind of sat there. What is it? What's triggering me? What's making me feel this way? What is making me tear up over nothing? My husband called. I start crying on the phone. He's like, what happened? What's going on? I don't know. So you never know from day to day what's going to happen and what's going to trigger you. But me, I had to come up with a way to turn it around, because I hate feeling sad. I hate feeling upset. Yes, I have a loss. Yes, my son is gone. And God knows if I could turn back the time right now to July 15th, 2023, I would go back. I don't care about anything that I've accomplished over this time. I would definitely go back. Fact of the matter is I can't. I can't. And I'm not going to allow myself to be stuck in a Groundhog Day type of situation where I get up every day and it's the same old sadness and the same old hurt and the same old tears. I have too much to still live for. I have a family that loves me. I have friends who love me, who are there for me. And so I have to figure out, how do I continue to move forward? How do I actually find happiness after this loss? That's the biggest thing. How can I find happiness when I am constantly walking under a cloud of grief? Makes me think about, I think it was Charlie Brown cartoon or something, where there was a kid that walked around and it was like it was a cloud over their head. I feel like that's me. Or Pigpen had the dust of dirt because he was just filthy. Like, the filth of grief is on me. But I don't want that to be me anymore. I'll have it within me. I just don't want it to get there before me. I don't want it to be this big force field. Somebody comes up, want to hug me, and they get stopped by the force field of grief. No. No. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of just grief taking over. And I'm not going to let it happen anymore. Am I grieving? Absolutely. Every day until the day I die. I just don't want it in the forefront. And that's just where I am in my journey right now. It's a fight. It's a constant fight to smile daily. I hear it every day. I don't know how you do it. I don't either, but I'm determined. I don't know how I can come up with a topic to speak about on this podcast. But guess what? It's a daily journey. It's a journey that I will constantly be on. It doesn't stop. Even once I feel like I've quote unquote overcome it, I'm still on the journey because my son's not back. I still have a huge loss. I still have a huge part of me that's gone. Even if I get up from the time I get out of the bed to the time I get back into it, at the end of the night, I'm smiling and cheerful and happy still. There's a hole in my heart. Still, there's a part of me gone. As happy as I am, there's a part of me gone. But I choose not to focus on that. I'm still in the fight, still going to court, still waiting for this man to be sentenced, found guilty, all of that, for killing my son. But I still choose to find some level of happiness on a day-to-day basis. And that's the identity that I am working to have. Happiness, joy, something positive in the wake of grief, in spite of grief. Happiness in spite of, joy in spite of, love in spite of, because I'm still here. I'm not going to deteriorate day by day because I'm holding on to the anger, to the pain, to the depression. That's just not me. I'm a domestic violence survivor. I've been through a whole lot. And if I can get through those things and not allow them to eat at me on a daily basis, I can get through grieving and not allowing it to turn me into this dark person. I feel like doing that, that's when the enemy wins. Because that's what he wants. You know, he's here to steal, kill, and destroy, right? I'm not going to let that happen. Yeah, you took my baby. And yeah, that was a devastating blow. But guess what? You can't steal my joy unless I let you. And I refuse. I refuse. And I'm not just here trying to give a speech, just saying like, hey, look at me. I'm stronger than death. No, nobody is. I'm stronger than grief. I'm trying to be. But I'm saying all this to encourage you. Because you don't know the things I've gone through when these cameras are off. I've shared a lot, but I don't share everything. But the point of me doing this every other week, the point of me recording this journey, the end goal was always to be encouraging, not to be dark, not to be pulling someone down with me. So if you are tuning in wanting someone who's going to be, I'm not going to say I won't be sad with you, but for someone to see someone who's going to be just depressed and down and low all the time and unable to pull themselves out of it, this is the wrong podcast. Because this journey is about enlightenment. It's about encouragement. It's literally about coming out on the other side of grief. Not only the devastating side, not only the sadness. That's what grief, how it hits you. But how are we dealing with it? Where are we going from there? Where do we plan to end up? And I plan to end up somewhere in the realm of happiness and joy. And I hope that I encourage you to be there as well. I hope that you hear something in my story, something in my journey that makes you want to get on that same journey. There's been some things that have happened just in this year alone that I am amazed at what God is doing in my life. And I know that I'm not here to bring anyone else down with me. If anything, I'm going to lift you up with me. Let's be happy together in spite of what we've had to deal with, in spite of the cards we were dealt, in spite of the lemons, let's make lemonade, all those cliches, in spite of grief, in spite of loss, let's get to the other side of it. Smile. Find your happy place. And you can find it in the midst of grief. Again, you can find it in spite of. We're going to make it as far, as long as we're supposed to make it. Because you're still here for a reason. You just got to figure out what that is and what you're supposed to do and do it. And you may be trial and error. You may think you're here for one purpose and that's not exactly your purpose. Okay, back to the drawing board. Just don't go back to the depression. Don't go back to the sadness, to the grief. Let's take the next step towards what could be the next possible outcome on the positive side. You can do it. Lord knows, back in 2023, I would have never thought that I'm even to where I am right now. And I'm not over it. I'm still dealing with it. Like I said, I cried at least 4 times today alone. But I'm still making it. I'm still here, present. And I still have joy. Hold on to that. Strive for that. And when you get there, don't let anybody knock you down. Don't let anybody take it away from you. And it'll help you in so many other things. Choose happiness. Choose joy. Choose positive in spite of. Grief doesn't have to control you. You control it. I know it's easier said than done, but it can be done. In every single thing you do, And I say this for a reason, but I want to make sure every single episode that you hear this, that you receive it, that you are empowered by it, and you do it. In everything you do, be true to yourself, be strong, and be mighty. We're here every other Friday. Everywhere you listen to podcasts, you can watch us on Spotify and YouTube. If you'd like to be on an episode, if you'd like to give a topic suggestion, feel free to email me at wearemighty24@gmail.com. Choose joy in spite of. I'll see you next time.
They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no. They won't stop me now, they won't stop me now, they won't stop me, no.